was losing lots of money gambling, and he started betting baseball.
I did not bet on baseball.
Pete owed enormous sums to the mob.
Hey, why am I saying hey? There's a documentary you have to watch. It's on Pete Rose. It's a new 4-part documentary. I got through about 3, and I couldn't fucking watch it anymore. But I'm telling you, it is what nobody's talking about. You know, I saw somebody did something, said it was sad and blah, blah, blah. What nobody's talking about is that Pete Rose is, I think the guy is just a complete narcissist. The way he takes no responsibility.
All I did is bet on baseball. I didn't rob banks. I didn't go around knocking up girls. I guess I'm telling the truth when I tell you the only bad quality I had was I gambled on baseball.
I just watched the guy and I'm like, this guy could have been in the Hall of Fame 20 years ago. If he had just, when he got caught, just said, you know what, they got me. You're right. I did this. I let down my fans. I let down baseball. I'm ashamed of myself. Major League Baseball is 100% right to give me a lifetime suspension. Nobody is bigger than the game, and it includes myself. I just want to apologize to everybody involved. I am guilty. I'm sorry. And just walked away and never fucking said anything. If he just did that, he would have been in 20 years ago.
While the commissioner says he believes Rose bet on baseball games, Rose still says no, he did not.
I'm happy to look in the camera now and say I never bet on baseball. And the only thing I can tell the fans is I did not bet on baseball.
But he continued to say that he didn't bet on baseball. He continued to fucking lie. And then after 20 years of saying that, when he finally comes clean and admits that he bet on baseball, he goes, fine, I bet on baseball. Now let me in the hall. That was his apology. So, you know, everybody's just sitting there going I feel like at this point you can let the guy in the Hall of Fame, you know, considering Major League Baseball is now involved in taking bets and all of that.
It's projected to be a $129 billion industry by 2028. Betting has become increasingly intertwined with the games themselves.
Leagues that once insisted betting would compromise the integrity of their sports have adopted a new position.
Sports gaming can be an important source of fan engagement.
But what they were talking about, you know, the reasons why this guy got suspended. If you watch the whole thing, he starts off betting on basketball and football, and like everybody, he's fucking losing. And then when he got to baseball, he'd be killing it because he knew everybody in the fucking league. He knew all the ins and outs. He had all this inside information and all that, and he would fucking be destroying.
Pete was terrible at the football and basketball, unbelievable in baseball. I mean, because he understood the pitching, he understood the game.
But the problem is you still lose. So eventually you get yourself into a level of debt that you have to do something to try and make it up, and eventually you got to throw a fucking game.
I hate people who talk about me and they start talking about Joe Jackson. So there's a big difference. Taking money to throw a game or betting on your own team to win.
That's what they worry about. I'm not saying Pete Rose did that. But if you watch this Pete Rose documentary, I love Pete. I am a huge fan of the baseball player. Watching how he conducts everything else, you know, I'm not. But I'm also trying to figure out who this guy is through a fucking documentary. But the accidental comedy in it is anytime they ask him about gambling, he acts like he can't remember, right? Like at one point, the guy, you know, and it was a pretty softball, questions. He's pretty much asking him about, you know, playing and his philosophies and all that. And Pete is just lit up like a Christmas tree. But whenever this guy asks him about fucking gambling, he turns into a little badger, man. It's fucking hilarious. He'll be like, Pete, do you remember the first time you bet on baseball? And he stares at him for a half a second. And he just goes, I mean, you must think I'm a fucking genius. I mean, Jesus Christ, that was 40 years ago. I can't remember what I did last week. How the fuck would I remember? He gets all fucking defensive.
You must really think I'm a fucking genius. Do you remember what you did in 78? Do you remember what you did in 82? I don't remember what I did last week.
And then in the same documentary, at any point, he'll be like, it was 1979. We were playing the Pirates. John Candelari's on the mound. I go down 0-2 after chasing a slider in the dirt. He had like a photographic fucking memory of anything that he did in baseball. Like, dude, the way he went through the 1975 and 76 World Series, the guy remembers every fucking game. He remembers every fucking inning. Anything about gambling, he just starts going like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if that's what they said happened, then I mean, that's what happened. I mean, it was like fucking, you're going back 35 fucking years ago.
Because Tommy has said that
If that's what they say, that's what it happened, because I don't remember. I don't remember.
1963, we're playing the Dodgers. Sandy Koufax is supposed to be on the mound. Guy by the name of Flip Johnson comes to the mound. Nobody ever heard of this guy. He threw a fucking knuckleball like I never seen. He could remember the name of every fucking bum-ass pitcher he ever faced that spent like 2 weeks in the fucking league. Anything about the gambling he could remember. And then he has this young friend that he like totally grooms to help him, place his bets on baseball and everything like that. I don't know who the fuck told him to do this documentary, but I feel like this thing is just another major step backwards.
And a reporter asked a perfectly legitimate question. He was dismissive of her, rude, arrogant.
Rose was asked by a female reporter about a statutory rape claim against him from 1973 that resurfaced in 2017. And he responded by saying, it was 55 years ago, babe.
She ought to be flattered that I call her a babe.
And also, I feel the fact that baseball is involved in gambling now, is making money off of it, hurts Pete's case, because I feel like now he's going to be like, all right, we have to not let this guy in. So on some level, we show that we're still against this while we make money off of it, which is pretty amazing, that they've come around.
You still can't bet on the sport that you're playing. Integrity still matters. It matters if the guys who are controlling the outcome of the game are betting. And it matters if they're betting on themselves or their opponents, or the opponents are going to play in a week. You can't have that.
Like the level of fucking greed. Like you weren't making enough money with this fucking $1 billion TV contracts. You have to make it like super accessible for all of us to go out and start gambling and all of this shit. I don't know, the whole fucking thing is, I don't know. I don't know what to think about it.
Here it is. Elton John's Greatest Hits. A collection of songs by the one gay guy on earth with a worse haircut than Pete Rose.